Hi, it's day 114 in our Route 66 journey through the Bible. We're near the beginning of Second Kings. These stories that we're reading about, if you, I, every now and then you read a story and you go, "Oh, that is so good." And some of you're going to be reading these stories for the first time. And that is neat because there's some really, really good stories. Second Kings chapter 5, 6, and 7. So read these stories. Let me explain to you a little bit about what you're going to be reading. In chapter 5, there's a Syrian commander. You need to realize the Syrians were enemies of the Jews. And Naaman had leprosy and he couldn't get healed. But an Israelite servant girl said that there's a prophet in my country. And so he goes down to try to find this prophet, and Elisha doesn't even meet him. He says, "You need to go wash in the Jordan River 7 times." And Naaman at first didn't want to go because it was a dirty river. There are better waters where he came from. But his servant said, "If he asks you to do something hard, you do it. Why don't you try it?" And so he humbly went in the water, dipped 7 times. Boom. He was clean and cured and healed. And the servant later lies to Naaman to get more money, and he's struck with the leprosy that Naaman ended up having. So that's an interesting story. So, like I said before, really, really good stories. In chapter 6 of Second Kings, Elisha makes an axe head float that it got off, and it shows God's concern for even small things. And then later, when an enemy army surrounds Elisha, he prays that his servant will be able to see where the protection is. And he looks out, and God allows his servant to see the angels protecting them. Elisha blinds the enemy, takes him in, leads him into Samaria, where they ended up being spared. So there's a little bit of humor in this chapter. And then in chapter 7, there is a severe famine in Samaria, which is the capital of Israel at that time. If you remember, the northern tribes called Israel, the capital was Samaria area. And then in the south, the capital was Jerusalem. That was called Judah, and the capital was Jerusalem. But they had a severe drought, famine, really, and Elisha prophesied that there would be plenty of food. People doubted it, anyway, 4 lepers weren't able to go into the city, and they said, or be close to people. So they said, "You know what? Let's just go out and find out. Take our chances and see what happens." They went out. Something had happened. God had done some things. The enemy scattered, and they came back in, and they ended up getting a bunch of food, just exactly as Elisha had predicted. So I love these stories. These are, for as a pastor, as a preacher, these are sermons all by themselves. So here's some lessons I think that you're going to do. With Naaman, God honors humble obedience. Naaman couldn't figure out, why should I dip in the water 7 times? But he humbly obeyed, and God honored that. When you humbly obey what God says to do, he blesses you. It opens the door to blessing. In chapter 6, when you feel surrounded and you feel like there's no escape and there's nothing you can do, just realize this: God's got you covered. You can't see God's protection, but it's there. Just like Elisha's servant couldn't see the angels, they're there. Faith means trusting in God even when you can't see it. The unseen hand of God. Trust him. And in chapter 7, God can bring a breakthrough in the most unlikely ways. In that chapter 7, who did God use to tell the people that there was food out there? The 4 lepers, the four people that they didn't want to have around. God uses unexpected people and unexpected opportunities to do some amazing things. So never count God out. Good chapters. Enjoy your reading today. You're going to really like it.